got our sub-headlines, we've got our bullet points. People look for bullet points. They know they're usually going to be something that's important that you want them to understand. Look for, making your sub-headlines go through. You're making them a different color here. You're setting them apart. Now, I want to understand there's a couple mistakes on this one that I want to point out that goes with the formatting that will make it look just a little bit unprofessional, and it'll drive people crazy, and you'll hear about it. If you notice the two different color blues, we got a blue up here, and down in the next sub-headline, it's a brighter blue. This is a little darker. Right away, somebody's going to catch that, and they'll go, oh, that's unprofessional. How can I trust this person? Just little things like that are going to, if you really identify these things and take good care, that's going to start setting you apart from, a lot of other sales copy. Up here, we've got a sub-headline. Check out below everything that is about to come your way. And the bullet points really have nothing to do with about what's coming their way. That they had the wrong sub-headline for what they were talking about. Make sure that, it's going to be talking about what's coming up in this next paragraph, because that way they kind of get the gist of what they're about to read. They might, for the scanners that are just kind of scanning through things. A sales letter to be effective should create hope. People today are always hard-pressed for time, thus they are all the time looking for products or service that will make their life convenient and comfortable, and there has never been a time more than this. People, I'm just telling you, are just plain lazy. They want their life to be convenient and comfortable. They do not want any kind of hardship whatsoever from what you're trying to tell them they're going to have to do. So keep inspiring hope to them throughout your sales copy. Create a sense of urgency. To stimulate people to take action, you need to add incentives to the offer. You can create a sense of scarcity by informing your reader that either the stock is in limited supply or that your existing offer is valid for only a limited time period. Make sure that there's some kind of urgency there in your sales letter, and also make sure, as we talked about earlier, that if you create that urgency, if there's a limited, that you follow through with that. Be the authority. They need to see you as the authority as they're reading through that. If not, if they do not see that, they're not going to build that trust. If you manage to do so, no matter what you're selling, they're going to be much more likely to buy what you have to sell. Map out your sales letter in such a method as to set up the belief that you are only trying to help people and that you do not really benefit from the sale. Everybody knows if you make a sale, you're going to benefit from that sale. They know that's what you're trying to do, but you need to write it in a way that comes across as, I'm not here just to make a sale. I'm really trying to help you. And if you're offering that kind of help, make sure that you follow through with that as well, because it'll come back to bite you if you don't. Study effective sales copy. This is probably one of the most important tips that I can give you. Spend a few hours each day by going through some of the most effective sales letters of all time. When you find a sales letter that really does something to you when you're going through it, whether it's a good experience or a bad experience, take a look at it. Start looking at sales copy. Start looking at emails. It's not just things that are invading your space or your privacy or something that you really can't stand, all the long sales copy. Just get a new mindset of what you're going to do. If you want to become effective at sales copy, you need to understand what's out there, what's working and what's not working. So just start going through things. While you're learning, take a few hours, a few minutes, whatever it takes to really study them. When you feel it, like I said earlier, if you feel something that creates an emotion inside of you, stop and figure out what it was that created that emotion. Try to learn the nuances of the sales copy that you're reading. Try to see how they use the headline, how the lead paragraph is constructed. Look at the style, the structure, so on, every little bit of it. Look at, are they using header graphics? Is there no header graphic on the majority of them? If not, if you see the majority of them not using header graphics, that sales copy is probably converting better without graphics and stuff. So maybe you want to use sales copy without graphics. Make sure that you study effective sales copy. If you see something that's just really turned you off, try to figure out what turned you off about that so that you know what not to do or what you need to do better. Proofread. It's critical that you accurately proofread your copy, and I'm probably not the person that should teach this, but it's critical that you accurately proofread, especially your sales letter. because you need to come across as professional as possible. One of the quickest ways to lose credibility in advertising is to allow grammatical or spelling errors to appear in your advertisement or marketing pieces. You cannot do what I do and just use the spell check. It does not get everything. I do that, and it bites me every single time. You have got to have somebody take a look at it. Have 2 or 3 people take a look at it, and go through that sales copy looking for mistakes, grammatical errors, and things that you could change to really make it even read a little bit better. Customers translate carelessness in ads into carelessness in products and service. They ask themselves, this company doesn't care enough to produce an ad without errors. How likely are they to care about taking care of me? Professional business produce professional quality ads and ad copy, and that means their copy has been proofread again and again and is error-free. Do your very best at this. Be unique. You must have a unique selling proposition. This is your differentiation strategy. It's what makes you distinguished from the rest of the crowd, from the rest of your competition. If you're going to be just like everyone else, why should anyone else buy from you? A simple way to promote uniqueness over your competition is to sell your prospect not to buy the product or service that you are selling them. Sounds very foolish, but it is not. If you've got, make sure that you go through them, if you've got something that is better than the competition, challenge them to just go out and buy their products, because you know that they're coming back to you. Tell your reader to go and buy the product service offered by your competitors, and when they're not satisfied with what they have to offer, come back and get the real deal with the product service that you have. Now, most of the time, they're not going off. They're just going to say, wow, if he's brave enough to say that and challenge me to go look for it, he evidently believes in what he has. So make sure you know your unique selling proposition, your differentiation that makes you unique, and flaunt it. Make sure that people see that. Put your copy to the test. There's only one way you can ever find out if your sales letter will be winning or not. It has to be undergo a test. Get into the hands of your target audience or prospective buyers to see if it will convert or not. Make sure that you put it out there. A lot of people, well, I think it's going to be good, but I'm not sure. Can you look at it? And then you help them out with it, but they're just scared to put it out there. You're never going to know what it's going to do if you don't put it to the test. Give your writing strength, energy, directness, and power with an active voice instead of a passive voice. Active voice is the subject of a sentence, is the one performing the action. If you write in an active voice, it gives your writing strength, it gives it energy, it gives it directness and power, and it's just going to make that person feel good as they're going through there. Applying this rule, make the first word of your sentence the one that will do whatever the main action is. Unless it's a you understood. An example of a you understood would be, if you were to say, place the pan on the table, then remove the lid. In this example, it's understood that the writer means for the reader or the person following the directions to perform the action. So if I was to say, if you're reading it, it says place the pan on the table, then remove the lid. When you read that, you're feeling that, okay, they want me to place it on the table, remove the lid. They're not thinking about, trying to figure out who it's going to be or wonder. They feel it's you, so it's understood that is who you're talking about. The writer means you but doesn't say it, so it's understood what the writer means without him or her having to say it. Sentences written in an active voice will keep your readers turning the pages, keep them scrolling down the page. Active voice sentences have energy and directness. Writing in active voice means constructing sentences where the subject acts or take action. For a couple examples here, I generated 104,349 in just 30 days using the exact powerful copywriting methods you will use yourself after completion of the Home Run Copywriters course. And another example, you could say a lot of money was made in a very short amount of time by using the methods being taught in this course. The difference between them is the first one is written in an active voice, and the other one is in a passive voice. The first one is you understand who it is. The reader is, or the writer of that sales copy is talking about themselves. Or I could say, you will generate this amount, where it's where you're putting that person who is going to be taking the action. You're identifying that person. And sentences using active voice, the subject I and you perform the action of the verbs generated and will use. So I'm saying I generated and you will use. You've identified the people that are important in this and the action that is going to be taken. The sentences are punchy, direct, and make it clear who's doing what. The sentences written in active voice usually feel and sound less wordy. So if you're going through your sales copy and you feel it really sounds